everybody, I'm Jen and welcome to my channel. I'm a woman in long-term recovery. I'm also a CARC, a SERPA, a rape crisis counselor. If you check out my about section down below, you will find the links to things that I've been involved with, other videos, all other types of stuff, my go bags that I help people in my local community. You'll find more information out about Supplies for Life and other types of things. So today we have a special guest. We have Jordan with us. Hi, Jordan.
Morning.
So as many of you know that have been following me for a very, very long time now, Jordan Barnes is the amazing author of One Hit Away. And he is now coming out with a new book, and I'm extremely proud, happy, excited, all the things. It is a book that is about harm reduction, and as you all know, that is very near and dear to me. And we are going to come on here today and talk about the new book. So welcome, Jordan.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I actually have the updated proof is going to get delivered today. This is the earlier copy, earlier version. Thanks so much for having me on to talk about it. Such an important topic.
Absolutely.
I love, we've become close friends, and I absolutely love what you do. I love the community. I love Supplies for Life. And as someone in recovery that just made 10 years clean, I am positive I wouldn't be in this position if it weren't for many of the people like you and other harm reductionists that helped me in active addiction. And so that was one of the driving reasons behind this book, is I wanted to share some insight into what harm reduction is and how it really benefits people when they need it the most.
I think books like this are incredibly important and powerful because you have a way with words and you're a wonderful writer and you're an entertaining writer, but you're an educational, entertaining writer. And I feel like that is so incredibly important. If you can be entertained, you don't realize you're being educated. And that's when I think the magic, so to speak, happens, because it actually sits with you. And you're like, whoa, this is so cool. This is so, entertaining and engaging. And at the same time, you're literally getting a lesson on what recovery is like and what is going on. And in this day and age right now, harm reduction is, so it's twofold. It's getting a lot of really great, powerful movement behind it. And it's finally kind of getting the recognition that it truly, truly deserves. But it's also getting all the pessimistic, non-believing, judgmental bullshit, basically, that comes along with it. And I feel like this type of book will really give people an insight into what it's really like to work at a syringe exchange program, be a participant, and just the politics. And there's so many things that happen inside this book that might not be word for word what happened in real life, but they really happen. And it's so funny because, as everyone knows, I run a syringe exchange program-ish, if you will, a mobile one. And I talk to all the main political players in my county, and what they say to me on the record and off the record are totally different things. I mean, night and day.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and that's, there's Haven put it so eloquently. Haven Willock, who is a friend and contributor to this book, and she works outside in the syringe exchange in Portland that I used to frequent. And this book would not exist without her input. And so I have this really lovely interview with her in the back matter. And I talk about some of the challenges. And she says, one of the biggest threats out there is I can never say this word, the politicization of science. And it's, it's when it comes to harm reduction, a lot of emotions get pulled into play. A lot of people with other, political beefs to grind. Basically, there's data and there's science and there's proof, and that's not always what wins, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of people have let me think of the right way to say this. So politics isn't always people's actual opinion.
Right.
You can be a diehard politician, but what sells and what doesn't. So, you know you get financial gain for the further your career goes, and you have to appease the people, so to speak.
Right.
So even though you might not necessarily agree with what's going on, you're still going to further that because it coats your pocket. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. And, you know, someone said something the other day. She was like, I love it. She was like, you're not politically affiliated in any way. You just say what you feel like needs to be said. And I said, yes. And that will never change about me. I will never be in a politician's pocket explaining to them. Like it's just, this book shows a lot of that. And I think it's just amazing the way the whole scene is laid out and how the twists and the turns, and even though it was proven that was working, and it's just such a good read. Like, I'm just super excited. I can't wait for everyone to be involved with it. And a couple of subscribers were lucky enough that the ones that are a part of the Gen Cutting community, a couple of them got picked as early readers, and every single one of them messaged me like, oh my God, this is so good. And I was like, I know, I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on a lot of things there. I definitely tie in politics in the book. I mean, maybe I'll read the blurb to kind of give an idea what the book's about. But before I do that, I will say my main character has like a sit down scene with the deputy district attorney, and she's trying to get him to turn a blind eye so she can do something that in the eyes of the law isn't legal, but in the eyes of morality is the right thing to do. And she runs into this brick wall where politics get involved. And it's like, just because I might support you privately doesn't mean I can support you publicly. And it's this like kind of push and pull where she's not wanting to negotiate because people's lives are on the line. And he's like, that's not how the system works. So it's definitely,
and it's so accurate.
Yeah. And I mean, I've learned so much, writing books like these, they teach me a lot too. So I grew. I thought I knew a lot too, but I did walk into this on like the receiving end as someone who used to take advantage of those services, and my eyes were really open on what goes on behind the scene. I got the description here. Let me I'll read it to give everyone an idea. Harm reductionist Harley Hammond manages a dedicated team at the Bridgeworks Syringe Access Program in the heart of Portland, Oregon. Known as a pillar of compassion and hope, she fights for the rights and well-being of people who use drugs. When a torrent of fentanyl-laced heroin floods a city already crippled by the failed war on drugs, overdose preventions are overwhelmed, and the Bridgeworks team rushes to put life-saving supplies into the hands of those who need them most. Supplies for life. As fatal overdoses skyrocket, stigma, blame, and fear further fuel an already volatile public health crisis. Risking her position and incarceration, Harley turns to dealers and unsanctioned risk reduction tactics in an attempt to not only meet people where they're at, but ensure no one else gets left behind. In the wake of his first book, One Hit Away, A Memoir of Recovery, Barnes dives into the pivotal role of harm reduction programs as they relate to human rights, mental health, and social justice. From safer consumption spaces to safer drug use, and following a chilling record set for fatal overdoses in the U.S., Bridgetown, a harm reduction novel, is a found family journey packed with empathy and urgency to follow the science and pathways proven to work. So that's
and what's funny is when this book first was a thought, we didn't have any safe consumption sites in the U.S.
I know.
It's just crazy, right? So that was like a hope and a dream. And then a few months went by and all the work started going into the book and the countless hours and readings and names and this and that. And then all of a sudden, New York,
on point.
Came up, not with one, but two.
Yeah, two.
And so now we have 2 safe consumption sites in this state that I live in. And it was like literally as the book was finishing, these 2 popped up. It was almost like you wrote it into existence. And I think that's so amazing.
Yeah, that was, that was such a trip, because in many ways, this like fictional story plot that is based, on lived life experience and in reality, ultimately like something very, very similar came to fruition. Let me pull this up because Mayor Bill de Blasio he did release something publicly about it. And I thought it was so, I put it in the book because it kind of goes to show that while this is a fictional story, like I really think that there's there's intention and there's purpose behind this, and it's really a beautiful thing to see something like that happen. So Mayor de Blasio said, after exhaustive study, we know the right path forward to protect the most vulnerable people in our city, and we will not hesitate to take it. Overdose prevention centers are a safe and effective way to address the opioid crisis. I'm proud to show cities in this country that after decades of failure, a smarter approach is possible. On their first day open, they reversed multiple potentially fatal overdoses, which is that's what
11 people in the first week.
Yeah, it was, and that's sort of, I wanted to touch on that, like with this book, because, other countries have been getting this right for some time.
For years.
And the US is ahead in many ways, in many things, and behind in many ways, in many things. And I think going to show that, syringe access programs, needle exchanges, safer consumption spaces, these are tools that can save lives. And when you have two of the worst years on record for fatal overdoses back to back, it's like a very compassionate thing to, at the very least, look at options and keep things on the table. And so it was really brave of New York to do that. And I think that's going to set it off for other cities to follow suit. And I think that it's gonna make a really big impact. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So a couple of things that you just said, and moving backwards kind of. So like you said, it'll set it off for other places. The first is always the hardest. You know what I mean? Like the first in anything, your first high, your first lie, your first this, your first that, all across the board. Anything that is done the first time is always the hardest because it's the fear of the unknown, right? So now New York jumped in feet first, not one, but two, made a huge impact, made a huge statement. Beautiful, 100%. First president that is now actually saying harm reduction in his addresses to the public. Huge deal, right? Yeah. So now, not only do we have a syringe exchange in one of the most populated states in the country, we also now have a president, whether you like him or not, who is saying the word harm reduction nationally. Okay. Yeah. We have a syringe exchange because, like de Blasio said, we are far behind. We have other countries worldwide who are doing this same work because they too have an epidemic like we do, right? And it is proven with research and data to be successful. So now we're finally playing catch up and we're finally doing what the people really need. And I feel like lately I say this all the time, and I feel like it's going to become my new catchphrase in a way. Like, we need to take the stigma and taboo out of drug using. We need to take the stigma and taboo out of harm reduction. Once we take that taboo away, it won't be so full of stigma and people will be less likely to judge because it won't have that much of a bite anymore because it'll be more normal. If harm reduction, we use it in everyday life, but when we don't, when we equate it to normal stuff, people are cool with it. When we equate it to drugs, people automatically needles and Narcan. And yes, that is a huge part of it, but it is not all of it. And I feel like now that we have 2 syringe exchanges in our country, like you said, other states will be able to say, well, look, it's working over there. It'll give other people more data and documentation to be able to use to convince the less hesitant people, will say.
Yeah. And once it's, they like, once something's done, it's no longer impossible. Right. And I think it's just the beginning. I've seen, harm reduction. It's, as an author, like, I started this book over a year ago, but lately it's like more and more, like on the tip of the tongue in society. And I see a lot of like positive things moving. Atmosphere, Morgan Godwin, and Beats Overdose. Like they're like, that organization that's like following that hip hop act and traveling and doing harm reduction at concerts, stuff like that. Like it's amazing. Which is, it's like, like it's such a beautiful thing. And there's other people doing things like that. And so I've definitely tossed in a lot of resources in this book. I've written it into the story, Never Use Alone, which is a wonderful organization too. And I got that in the story as well as in the back matter. Someone that you can call if you're using, and they can be on the line and send send help your way if you stop responding. And it's like, it's a simple idea, but it's such a powerful idea because as people that use, I used to like use in bushes and like in the dark depths and corners, right, like weave through the city. And that's like one way to make a difference. And so I touch on a lot of those things in this book. And I think it's like you said in the beginning, like I looked at it like a way to educate, to hopefully bring in readers, grip them with a strong story, and then throughout it, like educate about overdose awareness, overdose prevention.
You have that entire part where you literally give the instructions on how to use Narcan. And I think that's incredibly powerful because Narcan is finally picking up speed and everyone's starting to get it, but not everybody wants to stay for a training, or maybe people have questions. And sometimes when they have it in front of them in a private setting, they can read and reread it and understand it and look at the pictures and maybe then Google a question if they have it, if they don't have someone like me that they can ask, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like that's amazing. And I love the fact that the company was like, take it, use it, please. Yeah. I think that's like amazing too.
Sorry, it's like super bright Hawaii sun. Emergent Biosolutions like allowed me to reprint the actual Narcan instructions in the back matter of the book. And of course, like it's written in with my main character, like explaining to people, you know, I've got a character, Mateo, who's a foreign exchange student that's volunteering at the program. Well, he is, you know, his role is to be society and ask questions and then get taught and trained as he goes about learning the ins and outs of the inner workings of the syringe exchange, which by the way, I never understood that syringe exchange was even like a stigmatizing word until Haven broke it down for me and said, you know, the 1-for-1 model is not the preferred model. There's the data is in that like the best way to affect change is to give people what they want when they need it, but they're bound by, you know, certain contracts that require a 1-for-1 exchange. And which is why I call it a syringe access, or you hear clean access a lot. Stuff like that. Like
that you see that because I actually find I'm supposed to abide by that method. Yeah. I'm supposed to, you know, the first time we meet, I can give you a full bag, which is 10 pieces. Yeah. But after that, I'm only, because I won't open a bag. I don't want to open the bag and have clean ones falling around, God forbid. You know what I mean? Because it's waste. Yeah. I'd rather have dirty ones falling around than clean ones because clean ones are precious. I don't want to waste them.
Right.
But you know, and then it, depending on how many you return to me is how many you're supposed to get. And I don't go by that. For every one you give me, I give you a bag because I'm not gonna, and people are already nervous. They're already apprehensive and feel confused and dirty and alone and scared. And I'm not going to be like, put your needles on the table. Let's count them up. Like, no, we're just not doing all that.
Yeah. I think it's the same in Portland. You can have up to 10 a day. And, you know, but like the reason that exists is people think like, well, if we don't have this 1-for-1, people won't bring their stuff back. And I don't believe that to be true. If anything, I think that used syringes being paraphernalia, if that were removed, it'd be a lot easier, I believe, and less risky, you know, to have that on your person. So there, it's like
people would be less likely to toss them on the ground if they weren't afraid of being caught with them.
Yeah, and so you know, I gotta say, like, I've grown and learned so much throughout this book. It's amazing, like when you do like a critical thought experiment of writing on like a topic where you think about it day in and day out for extended periods of time, and you get to talk to people that are literal professionals in that subject. It's amazing how much you can pick up. And again, I just got to shout out Haven because she was, as busy as she is with everything that she's doing, she's awesome. And she answered every question. And you too. I mean, like, I want people to know, Jen has been you have literally read word for word, scene by scene, every day. I would send it to Jen, and you are busy too. And you get to it when you could. And you would give me, most of the time, you're just like, I love this because you're so supportive, but you gave me so much critical feedback. There's a reason why your name is on the cover. Like you're a part of this book from the beginning, and like we are forever intertwined in this. So if it bombs, I'm taking you down with me.
We're not gonna let that happen.
No, but
it's so funny because you did a TikTok. I talked to share this. You did a TikTok, right? And Bella has TikTok. And I don't know how she knew to look you up, but she did. And she comes like running in the kitchen, Mom. And I was like, yes, are you okay? You're famous. You're on a book. It's on TikTok. Look, it's Jordan's book. And then she's like, can I follow him on TikTok? And I was like, yes. She was so excited and so proud to see my name on that book. So the simple fact that you put my name on the book, it was amazing. But the fact that my baby saw that and like thought it was so much bigger of a deal than it really was, like it was just, I don't know. And then I showed her the insert that you showed me that has like my picture and stuff. And like, she's like, can I read it? And I'm like, nope, not yet.
Nope, not yet.
But I mean, it was
yeah.
So obviously everybody knows the situation of how I got Bella back and why I had lost her. There I am. And the fact that that was part of our story, and now she was looking on TikTok and saw her mom's name on a book was like amazing. So I'm appreciative for my name on the book, but I'm incredibly appreciative that my child got to see that. So that's like, you know, another reason for me to cry as always.
Well, that's the beauty of giving back. I mean, like we are so fortunate. We're really fortunate to be in a position in our positions that we are in. The fact that I can write now for a living about something that means so much to me it's literally the best job in the world. I had someone reach out to me last week and say that they listened to One Hit Away, hung up and contacted a treatment center and was in that treatment center within 3 days. And like, I'm not going to, it's not like I'm taking credit. I'm just saying like that little thing, like I'm sure there's a lot of little things along the way, but to be like one part of that, it doesn't get better than that. And this, like, I think just like the resources and education that people will gain an insight from reading a book like this is, I think it's really, my hope is that it makes an impact. And in much the way that, all your public constant education helps people and you've got training videos and stuff. And it's just, it's an important thing. It's an important part of my program of recovery is being in service. And yeah, it's just, it's kind of hard to quantify or vocalize, but it's a beautiful thing. And by the way, I'm like relatively new on TikTok, so go find me because it's
I will leave all of your social media stuff down below. And so everybody, when they want to go run and buy the book, as they should, they can. It's going to be on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Search for Bridgetown, a harm reduction novel by Jordan Barnes. It's going to be available ebook, paperback, both paperback and hardcover, and then we have like the most gangster audiobook. It's so rad. Savannah Gilmore, the voice that narrated this, like absolutely killed it. And that's the thing, like writing a book, it's not like a one person thing. It takes like it takes an author with good insight and people that can contribute to teach me so that I can put together something together. It takes a really great editor, great narrator in this case. And it's like, it really feels like, at least for me, it feels like it's been a team effort. It's not something that's like a lone process.
I think especially like for the audiobook, I heard some of the samples of the people who you were thinking of going with before. And some of them, it was just like immediately the first 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, excuse me, first 5 seconds. And I was like, no, like that's just, she didn't pronounce the words the right way, or he had a different type of accent. You can hear it in the back. Like it was just not appropriate. And then when this woman that you went with came on, literally I heard her say 3 words and I was like, yes, like, that's it. It's her, like all the way.
So a happy, healthy boy, Gabby said. I'm so happy. It came as a surprise, but he's in good hands. He'll have a large street family that'll have his back. Oh, no doubt. Gabby patted Juju's belly once more. Thank you guys so much for popping in to say hi. Will you bring him back to meet us when the time is right? Of course we will, Juju exclaimed, leaning into Mac. And I'm sure Harley would love to see you too if you have time, Gabby said. We always have time for Harley. Is she here? Juju looked into the hallway at Harley's closed door. Yeah, she's in her office. Want me to grab her? Juju dismissed her with a wave. That's okay, we'll catch her on our way out, right after we grab a couple kids and exchange these. Juju opened her purse and pulled out a plastic bag of needles. Her belly nearly bumped into the bio bin as she counted out her syringes. Mateo glanced at Gabby. 26, Juju said. Fulls.
Like, she was made for it. It was perfect. Like, while you were writing all of this, and I was having the luxury and the honor of reading it before, like, it came to full fruition, you kind of get a voice in your head of what the person should sound like, shouldn't sound like, what they should be. And this girl just nailed it. Like,
yeah, I felt the same way. I knew, like, I was blown away from that sample. And that was such a challenging sample to read. You got a client that comes into a syringe exchange with her boyfriend and she's pregnant and she's asking for needles. And the new character is like, conflicted. I think that, yeah, I think but it was a learning experience. And he then goes on to learn about, neonatal abstinence syndrome and how dangerous it is for a pregnant woman to stop using rapidly, and also that you can pass on diseases to the fetus. And so it's like very complicated, high emotion events, and she nailed it. And that was really important because, a lot of people, when they think of like voicing people that are, if someone's strung out and they do it, just like comes off almost like a caricature. And I didn't want that. And Savannah Gilmore actually like volunteers in a harm reduction program herself. And so she like had this insight and I think she really wanted to work on the book, and it was a fantastic experience. So
she nailed it. I got an advanced link for the audiobook, and I cannot wait for it to go live because I am going to listen immediately. So we are pre-recording this, and I think I would like you guys to know. So this Sunday, March 6th, is Black Balloon Day. And that is the day that the book is being released because it is symbolic of all the people we have lost to substance use disorder. On that day, depending on who is available timing wise and whatnot, we're going to be doing a series of lives with hopefully myself, as long as I can get the time together, for an hour in the morning. Haven as well, obviously Jordan, and I'm not really sure who else did you ask. I know for sure that
Morgan. Yeah, I'm trying to get Morgan.
Amazing as well. I've had many conversations with her, and she's going to come on the channel in the near future, hopefully too. She's doing an amazing program, and her story is just sad, amazing, hopeful, emotional, the whole 9 yards. So do not forget Sunday, March 6th, sporadically throughout the day. I'm not sure what the times are going to be, but hopefully Jordan and I will be able to go live on my channel. Then hopefully, he'll do his thing and whatnot. And Jordan also has a YouTube channel. So please go check out. He has an Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the things. Make sure you go and check those all out as well. I would like, Jordan, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I would like in the future, once the book has come out, I would like to snag a few copies to do a contest and give a couple away, like we did with One Hit Away. And I would like to get 4 copies of it for my local county jail, because literally One Hit Away has become the Bible. Every single one of my clients that I work with that is incarcerated has read that book, and they're all like, man, that's an awesome story. Like, it gives them hope.
I'll send you a carton for sure, and you can do with that what you wish. Also, I got some audiobook promo codes. Maybe we can give some away. Maybe like the first 5 to comment or DM me or whatever. Just throw it down, and I'll send you a Audible promo code. Definitely check it out. As an indie author, ratings and reviews are super helpful. So that would be fantastic.
Make sure I'll go on there after you purchase a book and leave an amazing review. So this way he can get moved to the top of the algorithm for the books on Amazon, because this is how we change things. We get things like this out there, and we show people that there is a humanistic side to people who use drugs and people who suffer from substance use disorder. And we
Yeah.
show the pains, the growing pains, the changing pains, all of them, but in a positive, educational, entertaining way. And we make changes. This is a small way that you can contribute as well. People are always asking me how you can help. These are the ways we help. This is the things that we do. And I'm honored to be a part of it. And Jordan, I love you dearly. And
Me too.
so glad that you came into my life, and your friendship means the world to me. And I'm just amazed at how you were literally one day like, hey, so I have an idea. What do you think? And now here we are saying, hey, it'll be released on Sunday. You know, I can't wait for the next one. Like, this is my passion, and you just nail it every time with every book so far. And I just can't wait to see what comes next. So
I got some ideas, so I'm working on it.
I'm sure you do.
Okay.
Oh, well, it was great to catch up with you today. And remember, everybody, March 6th on Amazon. I will link everything down below, all of Jordan's social media stuff, and as well the link for the book directly on Amazon. And the first 5 people to either comment down below or DM Jordan, we'll compare, will get a free copy of the audiobook. So if anyone has any questions, can't find the book, doesn't know this, doesn't know that, whatever, please reach out to either one of us, and we will do our best to help you through finding it or whatever you're trying to navigate. So I hope everyone has an amazing day. And remember, we recover loudly, so those behind us do not suffer in silence. Bye, everybody.
See ya.